Hello, everyone. We are live on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. It is Sunday night. We are a couple of hours removed almost from SummerSlam 2025, going down live from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It was a night. It was something at the very end of that show. And I have thoughts, and my co-captain has thoughts too. I'm Keila Cash, and by my side, as always, is my co-captain, my right hand, the sometimes advocate for the rapidly improving Ms. Jada Parker from NXT. I bring to you live on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. You know, he comes by at least once a month. He's not salty tonight. He is Perky. Scott Young. Welcome back, Perky.
Thank you for having me, Keila. As always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. I'm intrigued by the conversation we're going to have tonight. And listen, the show of itself, the body of the show, I thought was very good and worthy of the Perky title tonight.
The body of the show was very good. First two matches, outstanding. Third match, the crowd ruined it. I will say it. The fourth match could have been an email on SmackDown. The fifth match was solid. The main event until the very end of the show was a certified classic. Classic. Automatic 5 stars. Classic WWE main event match. Redemption for two people who had a match roughly 3 months ago in the main event of WrestleMania, and it sucked. And to come back and deliver this match of this caliber, kudos to them. I will talk about them. I will praise them. I will give them cheddar biscuits. I will do all of that for them in just a moment. However, we have to talk about what happened at the very end of this PLE to cap off SummerSlam 2025. If you are fans of the rap and you listen on a regular basis, we have called this person redacted for over a year. I don't utter this person's name. I don't acknowledge them on the timeline. I call them redacted. But redacted showed up at SummerSlam. Cowboy hat on, ponytail, dye job. I don't know what's going on. Looking bigger than ever. Redacted returned. He got in the ring and he F5'd John Cena. Who is redacted? Who is this, you ask? It's none other than the Beast, Brock Lesnar, who has been accused in a lawsuit of sex trafficking, the Janelle Grant lawsuit. That lawsuit that is still ongoing, that has not been settled, that has not been resolved. There has been no statement from WWE, Janelle Grant, or her lawyers to say Brock Lesnar, as of August 3rd, 2025, is cleared of these allegations. As of 11:05 p.m., no one has made a statement telling me why Brock Lesnar is cleared to come back to WWE. But I tell you what they did do. They stopped the WWE press conferences after the PLEs because now they don't want that smoke from journalists asking the tough questions. Paul Levesque went out there with the people. I love this format. I love being with you. You don't love us. You've made that perfectly clear on so many occasions, but you go out there at these PLEs for the pop, for the fellatio, and then you go. And then you come out here and you try to explain away what you cannot explain. Nobody at 11:06 tonight has told me why Brock Lesnar's back in WWE.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you by midnight, nobody's going to have a reason for you then either. Listen, I'm one who has been pretty firm and pretty steady on I can separate the person from the athlete, the person from the musician. the music, the music, whatever. This one was just a little different. Like the shock value set in, because I'm watching it with my kids and they don't know who Brock Lesnar is because he hasn't been on wrestling the last 3 years. So they don't know who he is. So they're like, what's going on, Dad? Who is this guy? He looks like a monster. Who is he? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth telling them because in a week or so, that man might be behind bars. Like, so it's like I told him who he was, and I told him, he hasn't been there for a long time, and honestly, I don't know how long he'll be here, but he's here now. It's this one was a little hard for me. Like, this is a little hard for me. Normally it's very easy for me to be like, yo, what they do in the ring and all that is completely separate from the deplorable and terrible person they are outside of it. This is giving me a real hard time with that. Now, we'll see what happens as time progresses. But I as of right now, this is a really hard one to kind of take head on and just be like, all right, well, I'm not going to stop watching the show because there's other wrestlers. I don't watch the show for the company. I watch the show for the wrestlers and who they are and the different people that I enjoy watching. But this was a hard one. This was a hard one.
Yeah, it's a hard one, but at the same time, it's not hard for me because I will have to acknowledge whatever happens in terms of the match with John Cena, possibly most likely at Clash in Paris. That is the selling point now. I think that's the game plan to get this match done. Is it a one-shot deal? I have no idea, but they've done this now, and I do feel those mixed feelings because of the character Brock played on television was so entertaining. But I cannot, as a fan and as a woman, as someone that follows this company from the ring, outside of it, I cannot separate the man that was indirectly mentioned in that lawsuit because the process of elimination is too easy. Who else are we talking about? It's Brock Lesnar. So until WWE, their lawyers, TKO, Janelle Grant, her lawyers, until y'all all come forward to tell me what's up, I'm taking Team Janelle's side on this until further notice. I'm not switching positions because this guy is back, and I don't like the presumptions of he must be cleared. TKO does what they do. They move how they move, but it's going to be up to the fans to decide what you all want to do. When he came out there tonight, y'all popped, y'all cheered. I heard the post show, y'all was chanting for Brock's name. On social media, the reaction is a lot of what the hell was this and welcome back Brock. I have seen people clamoring for Brock's return for well over a year. They finally got their wish tonight. The question becomes, where do we go from here? Because there was so much fervor over R-Truth being released from WWE almost 2 months ago. You fought for the guy's job back due to fan pushback about what happened. Do I expect that same energy for Brock Lesnar to be off my television, to be out of WWE again? Will the sponsors have something to say? I honestly don't know. But based on tonight's reaction, we're very selective about what we're upset about. We can boo Hulk Hogan, but we can cheer Brock Lesnar. There's a standard here and there's a standard there. And we got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, and you're not wrong about any of that. And like I said, this is going to be one of those that is going to really test the goodwill of a lot of the longtime hardcore fans who are kind of like, we're just about not moving on, but Brock Lesnar was in the past, wasn't even somebody that we were thinking about, wasn't even somebody that was in the mind of being back in the ring. The only thing that we thought we would hear about Brock Lesnar is he's been prosecuted and is going to head to jail. Like that's it. So yeah, like I said, nothing you said is wrong. And nobody can tell you that you're wrong, especially about the way you feel and as a woman. So, as I've always told you, your opinion on matters like this are of the utmost importance. So yeah, like you said, if you can't get with it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And then Lady B says, now the excuse is it's for John. John wanted to wrestle him during his retirement. If that is true, we already know that John's moral standards are in the basement because he has been capping for Vince McMahon ever since the lawsuit was brought up over a year ago. So that will not surprise me. But my God, the levels of where we are right now. But ultimately, it's going to be up to how people react to it because y'all popped when he came out there. I didn't hear any booing during the during the post show, I should say. I didn't hear any pushback. Will that translate to WWE television on SmackDown? Will Brock Lesnar bring in the viewership with John Cena to push a match at Clash in Paris? We'll see. But yeah, my stance cannot change. It will not change for the foreseeable future. Yes, at one time I enjoyed Brock Lesnar. Yes, I was a big time Brock Lesnar fan. What I found out in the last calendar year, that has changed by a whole lot. At some point, I have to draw a line, and the line is I'll cover him, I'll cover his matches, we'll talk about his segments, but that's as far as it goes with me. And ultimately, it will come down to how fans treat this. Will you give him smoke or will you cheer him on? Will you support him? Will you buy tickets to see him perform? Most likely you will. Will you tune out of SmackDown USA? Most likely you won't. So that's where we are. The fans have spoken, and there's very little that we can do about that. Their pop was to pop, and Paul Levesque got validation on tonight. And I have to say also that WWE as a collective, you're a bunch of cowards because you took away the press conference. And I noticed over the last couple of months, it was more outside the ring stuff in terms of post-game show versus back there at the table answering those generic questions. I noticed the stepping back of it. And now you've completely ripped it out and said, well, now we're just going to kayfabe it. We're just going to go out there with the people. Paul Levesque is going to pretend to be an ass kisser for like 15 minutes, running down his stats and say, I love you guys. We listen to you. We do it for you. Yeah. Cool. Whatever.
Yeah. The whole thing is, especially since the crowd that is probably at SummerSlam is more of a internet crowd. Like that would be more of the internet crowd who would know the kind of the ins and outs of the case and what's going on. So I think the fact that he got a hero's return, not a kind of mixed return, not a oh my gosh you're here return, but he got a hero's return. I think it speaks volumes about what he will get going forward. Like I don't see that changing.
I don't either. Hello, Fernando. So Fernando notes that I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised about people being happy about Brock being back. I see Mike Tyson on TV all the time, pretending he never went to jail for a specific reason. And hey, at least Mike Tyson went to prison. He paid for that crime. At least I can say that.
Yeah, Mike had to do that, and he definitely went through a little bit of a period where felt like he was very excommunicado from any type of TV. So he definitely had to go and hide in the caves for a while before he was brought back to any prominence, and The Hangover was a big part of that.
Exactly. That was career and personal rehab, and then the whole pigeon side of everything. Yeah, it gave him a second leash on like, hey, I'm more palpable today versus who I was 20 so years ago. But at least he paid for his crimes. That I can say. WWE movie maker, people at wrestling shows are not here. Boo the person outside of the ring. They're here to cheer for the character that is back. Unless you're Hulk Hogan. Well, we're going to test that theory with Brock Lesnar. We got the answer tonight. He got cheered. And I don't expect that to change. I'm a realist on that. I'm not going to say they're going to switch up some people might surprise me in the coming weeks because these fans, they vary city to city, state to state. We'll see how it flows in the next month or so, but the die has been cast. It is done. And he also knows if Vince ever returned, he would get a hero's return. Well, he didn't get booed when he was retired. They cheered him. They gave him a hero's goodbye 3 years ago when he retired. He came out there, walked out there, got cheered, got multiple pops. That's what happened. I expect the same thing with Vince. It's not going to shock me. It just shows us our standards are upheld, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I can really say about that. This is where we are. This is kind of the company that is run, and TKO doesn't care. I mean, Dana White. There you go.
Prime example.
I'm just saying, like Dana White, he created Power Slap. I mean, like, how did he come up with? I'm just saying, like that's all you need to know about what's going on at the top of the company.
After slapping his wife in public, but hey, that's
what I'm saying. Like, that's all you need to know about what's going on with TKO.
Yes, Maria circles back and says, I want Cena to take on young, promising talent, not just play the old hits. Well, he's on that retirement tour, and he says, you ain't getting nothing but classics, even from people you don't want to see. You're going to get the classics. You're going to get the old time hits. You're going to get like that classic Time Life music collection of my greatest hits, whether you like it or not. You can skip track 7, which is redacted. We can skip through that, but...
Listen, the one track, of course, he's there, but I'm not gonna lie, there would be one track that I despise this person, but under this condition, it could never happen. But a Jericho track to end it, that would work pretty well, since that was like one of his first matches.
Track 12, Lion Tamer. I'm not mad at that. I mean, he's one of my least favorite people too right now, but that'll be a great hit. Rated R Superstar track 14, that would have been a good one. We're not going to get that, unfortunately.
Oh, you talking about Cope? Cope. Cope. Edge retired. We got Copes around now, so Cope would be cool, I guess.
Yes, but we might get track number 8. Phenomenal. If we go back one more time. So we still got deep cuts in the archives to dive into. But yeah, that happened at the end of SummerSlam, which really sullied an outstanding main event that we will talk about in greater detail in just a moment. But we will talk about that greatness, WWE Movie Maker, because Cena did have the best wrestling match this entire year by his standards, because Lord knows we were worried, but this guy unlocked a bag that Scott always derides me for on this show, but a bag was unlocked tonight, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But let's go back to the very beginning. I do want Scott's thoughts on night 1 of SummerSlam, because Gigi and Jeremy took things over last night via their recap show. But your thoughts on night 1 of SummerSlam from last night?
First of all, the opening match was... the energy and everything was absolutely off the charts. I thought that it started off really good. I thought they had a great pace to start it. I thought the opening tag was really strong. I thought the following tag was really strong. It definitely felt like a night of tags. Mm-hmm. Definitely a night of tags. But I thought the second match with the ladies was a nice follow-up right there. You got 2 nice feel-good moments to start the show. And then we hit a little bit of a lull. You talked about the email. I think it could have been a text. We're going to be completely honest about it. Emails might be giving them a little too much credit. Jade is apparently just in the mix now. She's not stirring anything up. She's just a part of the mix. She's just a part of the batter now. So we're there with that. U.S. title and IC title. Here she comes. And Jelly Roll. Let me tell you something. Tell you something about old Jelly Roll. He said in his song, you don't walk in on a winning streak. And that man certainly did not. But let me tell you, my kids, when he took that frog splash and was all crying and stuff, getting carried up the ramp, they were like, listen, Dad, I like his music. I hope he's not too hurt because he's got to sing some more songs. But when he turned around, started walking to the ring, they started jumping up. So job accomplished, at least for the kids. I thought Jelly Roll was solid. Randy's my guy, the man. Logan Paul, he's a douchebag, but that dude can hoop. That dude can go. The frog splash was nasty. And right team won. And then you got the main event. Saw a lot of different opinions about it. I thought it was solid. Like I thought CM Punk did a really he was gassed, but I thought he did what he could and did about as well as you're going to get out of him in a 30-minute one-on-one match with a guy as physical as Gunther. So was it a classic like we got tonight? Absolutely not. But I thought it was a really good match and a good way to cap off the show. And then we get the surprise. Seth Rollins, Triple H's guy, back on top with the title. I think we can officially put to bed. Drew McIntyre he definitely was hater of the year for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can't give Seth Rollins hater of the decade so far. I mean, god dang. Every time CM Punk turns around and does anything of note, here comes Seth Rollins. I mean, wow. So good, memorable way to end the show. And yeah, Seth Rollins that man really does hate CM Punk. Unreal.
Speaking of unreal.
Here we go.
Because you provided the perfect transition. Because the worked knee injury is going to be the very first episode of episode 6 of 100%. Unreal season 1, part 2 in early 2026. How do we work the people with this injury? And then he's such a diva when he just drops the crutches in the most dramatic way possible, unbuckles the brace. He says, listen, I'm good to go. He won that championship rocking his chain. Okay.
Stop. Yo, I didn't even notice that, but that's mad disrespectful. I don't even think he undid his hair. I can't remember, but I see what I'm talking about.
Bun in place, chain was rocked, wearing tight pants, out there flaunting, doing diva-like things, got the dub, made his arch nemesis life a living hell in 2025 again. CM Punk breathes. Seth says, fuck that. I'm taking your oxygen. I'm taking your air. I'm taking your moment. That man was champion for 5 minutes. Somewhere Drew McIntyre said, yep, karma, bitch. Because that was me last year. And you took my moment. And now he took yours.
And Matt Hardy also says, shout out to Seth Rollins for avenging my brother. So like, this is, I can't believe they did that because this little story that they got going on of Rollins just being the little demon and what's that? CM Punk had a little horror movie where somebody was on the 3rd floor just following him around. That's Seth Rollins right now. It's getting real sticky out here. Sticky out here for CM Punk.
It is. But I will say Cheddar Biscuits for the Fantastic Four fit that he wore. That was very clean. Love the colors. However, I have to ask Phil a very important question. Phil, listen, I got to call you by your government name, Phil. Ain't gonna call you Black Phillip, but Philip.
That's not
listen.
Good. Yeah. BP. Yeah, you're not getting the BP title. Leave that to the gas stations.
BP is wild. But BP, listen to me. Let me rap with you for a minute. So when you heard Seth's music play, right, and I saw this theory a whole lot on the timeline last night. When you closed your eyes and you realized what was about to happen, why didn't you run? I would have got the hell out of the ring. Why am I sticking around for a cash in? That needs to be a logic point now for everyone that hears someone's music with the briefcase. I am hauling ass. You're not catching me tonight. I'm out. I'm not waiting for nothing. Why you waiting, Phil? You could have left when Seth turned around. You know what you could have did? Hopped over that barricade and went home.
Clearly, he doesn't remember what he did when he beat John Cena at Money in the Bank because he blew a kiss and ran through the crowd. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. CM Punk, man, you got to be better. Like, why didn't you just hide behind Wade Barrett or something? Just go, you should have just took the timekeeper bell. You should have knocked the referee out. There's a lot of things that could have happened in this time span, but sucks to be you. This is it, because it's Sammy's time in 2026.
Oh, 100%. Like, dude, you had your 5 minutes of glory. You cried your tears. I was so happy for you, but I knew doom was coming. It was coming. I was happy for him. And I did read the discourse about the match too. It was not atrocious like someone said. It was very good. Yes, Punk was gas. Yes, the power bombs were soft as tissue paper, but the body of the match for what it was very good. Like, what are we watching? Because I've seen matches tonight and last night that just said that. Okay, that match was not atrocious. That was a very strong championship match. Yes, CM Punk was tired. Yes, he's old, but he does know the beats of professional wrestling. Psychologically speaking, he knows where to be. Gunther's Gunther. The match is very good. One of Punk's better singles matches since coming back. I enjoyed the match. If it wasn't good, trust me, I would say it, because I have a lot to say about some things on this show tonight. Trust and believe me.
Yeah, 100%. Solid way to end the show, and definitely, it actually, I will say, it does make more sense why they planned it to go 30 minutes and have him look like that, to have Seth Rollins come out. So, like, it all really worked in the story when you really lay it out there and think about it.
Yes. And Fernando says, I was thinking the same thing. Why is Punk staying in the ring like that? But baby faces have to look dumb for some reason. Yeah, you do. And I think that will now be like the new thing for Money in the Bank cash-ins. Why are you standing there? If you're able-bodied, get out of the ring. Like, run for your life if you can. So we'll see. Then Gunther, the question is, what do you think Gunther goes from here? Well, he needs nasal surgery. He does have a legit nose situation he needs to attend to. That will keep him out of action for a time. The rumored last match of John Cena in Boston in December will be Gunther, allegedly, and that might be the direction from there. That will be my guess, Fernando.
If you could get one more match out of Gunther, I think he would get cheered like a king in Paris. Like, I think they would go crazy for him against Seth Rollins. So I think you could get one more match and have all three of them really beat him down and send him out of there. And then on his way back, maybe Ilya will be ready in time or somebody like that. But where does he go from there? I say he stays in that main event picture, stays trying to get back to the title.
Yes, the fight, the struggle. He might be a babyface when it's all said and done. I'm not mad about that at all either, because I think people are ready to cheer him, but we'll see. And Ilya Dragunov, he has really been gone almost a year. That's crazy. People thought he was going to super heal from that ACL, but he's human. He's going to take his time to come back, but he might be resting up. He might be at 100. And you know that old saying, Scott, creative has nothing for you at this time until season 2 of Unreal.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're waiting until season 2. So Triple H can be like, I've been holding this one right here in the case. Got him in the chamber. So, yeah, that's all that is. That man's been ready for the last 3 months. He's Super Cena when it comes to the healing. He's just sitting at home, lifting weights, waiting.
Clanging and banging. That man gonna come back with a 6-pack, 8-pack. He'll have those Finn Balor abs when he comes back. You can bet. But that was night 1 of SummerSlam. A decent show. Not as good as night 2. And night 2, I enjoyed with a few exceptions. But one thing I loved was the opening match, which was a triple threat match for the WWE Women's World Championship. It was Iyo Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus the champion Naomi. And I had high hopes for this match because we had like a stellar triple threat match at WrestleMania in Las Vegas that was 5 stars. This match was not quite 5 stars, but it was a solid 4. A solid 4, maybe a quarter there. I really enjoyed the match. Everybody did a great job. I love the flow of the match. Everybody had a chance to shine. Naomi was working with Iyo and Rhea, which I appreciated. I loved Naomi's entrance. When I figured out that was her dad, like, that got me misty, because that's a special moment they will always treasure together. And then your dad shreds out there on a guitar, playing you down to the ring. That was awesome. And then she just basically said, listen, I'm a champion. I'm not out of place. I know where I'm supposed to be. And she was there for every moment. The flow of the match was very good. We had the Rhea Iyo moments there. And once again, ever so close, Rhea is almost about to beat Iyo. Naomi says, nope, you're not doing that today. But ultimately, she does grab the tights on Rhea, which is legal when there's no DQ in a triple threat match. And she got the dub. And I thought that was fair and square. You used the rules or lack thereof to your advantage. Solid opener, really good action throughout.
Yeah, I think we found out that Naomi's no Bianca, but solid match as it was. And I actually really enjoyed the opening of the match where Naomi really established herself, really established dominance at the beginning of the match, was taking it to both ladies, was countering all the moves. I like when a heel, especially a heel, is all about like studying, knowing the counters, knowing how to cheat the counters, doing the little things like that. I thought she did a great job of just staying active and just keeping movement, countering here, attacking here, making them run into each other here, keeping Rhea and Iyo just off their game. I thought the opening was an excellent way to not only establish Naomi as a champion, as somebody not to be played with, because we just saw those two put on a classic. And so not to be played with, but not only that, she's came prepared. Like you could tell she done studied up on the lady. So I like that aspect. I like the fact that we got the moment with Rhea and Iyo. The crowd was up for it. The crowd was ready for it. The ladies getting that opening match I thought was really important too, because it'll let them get all that emotions out from the crowd. They got a hot crowd ready to go. And yeah, match was solid. I'm going to go 3 3/4. Maybe I can go 4, but yeah, I thought it was solid. The top rope riptide, real good. Like you said, I agree with you. There's no rules, so there's nothing wrong with her pulling the tights. Rhea knows better. And I think we're building towards – I'd like Bianca to win the Rumble, but they keep Rhea around. So I think this is going to make things very interesting. Stephanie's on the horizon. I think that'll be a nice test for Naomi as well.
I think so as well. That will be the match clash in Paris. It will be Stephanie versus Naomi, which should be very good. And one thing that Scott noted about the process of Naomi knowing history and the fact they called it out in the spot of the match when Iyo went for the moonsault. Naomi says, that's how Bianca lost at WrestleMania. Let me get out of the way. Let Rhea take that and let me make sure I break up that cover. It was brilliant because she says, I'm not going to get caught slipping on this spot. Not like my former bestie. That will not be happening.
And it was right after she hit her moonsault. Like it's I thought the match layout was just beautifully done. I was joking around when I said she's no Bianca, but I just thought everything about this was beautifully laid out. And it wasn't supposed to be like that match. This was, to me, really, it looked like it was supposed to have Naomi just being established on equal footing. Because we've established Rhea and Iyo as the kind of the class of that Raw division right now. And I think this put Naomi right there. It really just, I think, reminded people like Naomi can go with them. Because I thought the physicality of the match, especially as it started picking up, really was there as well. They started throwing some real good shots, some real good knees. You know what? I think I'm with you. I think I will go with the 4. The more I think about it, the more I did enjoy it, the more I did enjoy the counters and stuff like that. Really good job of establishing Naomi as a dominant champion.
Yeah, not a scaredy cat. She was there. Right. She was fighting in the action against both ladies. And for those that have been following Naomi's entire career, yes, she's not as fast as she used to be. No, she cannot as fly as how she used to, but what she can do is strike. And the strikes are very, very good. And she's been able to adapt that into her game because she can't fly as high and she's not as fast, but she knows how to adapt in the environment.
Well, she stopped doing those little 100 kicks at a time that she was doing. So that dropping that was a nice
Yes,
move. It was a nice little thing right there.
Yeah, for sure. But really good opener. I convinced Scott go the 4 stars, maybe throw a quarter in there, but really, really good match. And I'm looking forward to Stephanie versus Naomi Clash in Paris. Should be a really good match as well overseas at the end of August. Now let's get to the holy shit match of the evening, which was TLC 2025
of the evening.
Car crash horror scene. Lord have mercy. The Lord have mercy match of the night. It was a 12-man, 16 TLC match that actually got 15 people in the match or 17 people in the match at some point.
Shout out to Candice LeRae.
Shout out to Candice effing LeRae. We're going to get to her and give her flowers in a moment, but it was a Street Profits versus DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns versus Andrade and Ray Phoenix versus Fraxium versus the YS6, all up in there. And
like
then
you put them at 6.
Hey, and I did not intend to do that, but it just flowed because they were the 6th team in the match. But first of all, I got to call out the WWE crew. Why are you trying to kill people with the setups at ringside? Stacking tables and ladders and shit. You are just causing accidents right there. Hazards are at ringside off top. I'm praying for people not to accidentally hit into something. Then we just get chaos for 20 minutes. Slim Jim made their money tonight. They got their sponsorship coin because we saw Slim Jim tables get broken left and right everywhere. We had everybody go through tables. We saw Spanish flies, frog splashes. We saw people go through 4 tables or 3 or maybe 3 3/4 tables at ringside. And then, the fourth one didn't really take impact in terms of people going through it. But true. I say 3 3/4 tables. Then we were going to pay homage to the ladies of previous TLC matches, Lita and Trish and Molly Holly, because they were there for their teams way back when, and they stood up and they took the hits and the bumps. Glorious. We got a redo of that with Nikki Cross and B-Fab and Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae was up there trying to win the championships for her husband and his best friend. And yeah, I'm taking a pause on this because someone said what you're not going to do is do that. And then the ladder was shoved, and Candice LeRae, in the year 2025 of our Alert Above, proceeded to crash through a ladder. I did not realize there was a ladder bridge when she fell over. I was like, what the hell? Candice LeRae, for the love of the game. We need to push her immediately back on television because, girl, wow, that was crazy. Crazy spot.
Candice said, yo, top dollar, watch this. No jump required. Yeah, what more can you say, man? Like, that was a great spot. Got real nervous with B-Fab out there, not gonna lie. But yeah, this was just a car wreck. And I'm just wondering why all the car wrecks happened on this show. We couldn't put one car wreck on the last show. Like, you didn't think it was a good idea to spread some of these tables? Like, I know they don't have that many tables under there every night. There's no way there's just that many tables just laying under there every night, because there's a lot of tables used. Like, a lot of hardware was used tonight. Is this where the budget's going? Like, did they like, yo, we got a lot of equipment we got to use coming up SummerSlam, so we gotta cut some other. This is I thought the match was absolutely just car crash. Nothing, just it's too many things to even remember. Eric Rowan was just out there for about 5 minutes, just going crazy, doing his best Kane impression. This was madness. Uncle Howdy's climbing the ladder, looking like James Ellsworth trying to retrieve it for Carmella. All crazy. He got power bombed off. It was a crazy match. I can't believe the Wyatt Six are still champions. Who would have thought that Joe Gacy would be holding up the tag titles at SummerSlam when we saw him having people in his little cult a couple of years ago on NXT?
Look how far he's come. And then they got booed. I was like, well, the bloom is falling off the rose if they're getting booed, because I think the team they were pulling for was Rey Fenix and Andrade. They wanted them to win. And then one of the coolest spots in the entire match was Rey was on Andrade's shoulders and he was like right at the titles. Like, whoa, that is some crazy elevation. Like he was right on the titles. If they won that way, that would have been crazy as hell. Another highlight, freaking Tommaso Ciampa, Cirque de Ciampa, up there avoiding a spear by basically, let me loop myself
that
up
was
above
nasty.
That was nasty. Like, because you thought you're going to get a spear redo, and it could have done that, but we ain't trying to break necks in 2025. But he said, let me just loop myself up above these belts to save myself. I said the core strength to do that was very Cirque du Soleil of you, sir. Kudos. That was a crazy spot too. I loved it.
That was actually a really, really cool spot. Because like you said, I just knew he was going to try to do like some type of cutter, a drop kick, or just something off the ladder. And he dodged it. Crazy. I think the fans would have been okay with Fraxium winning as well. But you're absolutely right about Andrade and Phoenix. Like you could tell, especially as the match went on, they were the ones. Honestly, if you take at least two teams out of this, I think this match could have been a classic. Like, I just think you would have got that much more out of it. More teams could have been highlighted. You tried to highlight your entire division in one match instead of just giving them time every single week. So, I mean, why didn't you just throw the AAA champions in here too? Like, why didn't you just have them in there? They would have added something if we're just throwing people in there who can do stuff. I thought it was as good as some of the spots were, and I think they were really cool, just way too much going on for me. This is only going to get maybe 3.5 car crashes.
I'll go the 4 car crashes. I love the match. And then Fernando agrees. There was too many tag teams in this match. And I do agree. 6 is a crazy number for teams. And we have to think about who can we respectfully keep off this match. It won't be the Street Profits. I'm keeping DIY. I'm keeping Fraxium. I'm keeping Andrade and Rey Fenix. We could have kept off, with all due respect, the Y6 should not be tag team champions. Right. It should have still been the Street Profits. I'm mixed on Motor City. I think they could have been in the mix too. I could have been cool with 5. 6 was a bit much, but if I was keeping 4 teams, it would have been DIY, Street Profits, Andrade, and Rey Fenix, and ultimately Fraxium. That could have been a classic match with more flow, more time to do stuff. And I think that the camera people would have had more time to focus on everything, because good Lord, they had a tall order to catch everything, because everything was happening around them at the same time.
Yeah, I thought Kevin Dunn was back in the production booth for a minute. It was just a lot of cuts, a lot of back and forth. But yeah, and I mean, when you break it down, who do you cut from that? Like, you wouldn't cut the champs, which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
And then who's the other team? It's like Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah, I want them to be there. Like Street Profits, they're going to be there. You're not going to cut them. Me personally, it might have been DIY, but then we don't get the Great Candice LeRae spot, which is all about the homage to begin with. Yeah, no, you're right. When you put it like that, they're in a tough spot as far as who do you cut, when the first team you're going to think about the cut is the champs.
Yeah, and that pains me. I love the Y6, but I just think this environment for them, they're outclassed by a lot of tag teams who are better than them. And the fact they got booed when they grabbed those titles tells me, ooh, this is starting to run out of shelf life. That was the concern. Is it sustainable? Yeah, I think that was very apparent last night. And Fernando agrees with me. I think the fans are a little over the wide six. Yes, it's all about presentation. But after that, it's like there's not much to the act. And that's okay. I just think that in this situation, the title should have never changed hands. It should have stayed on the Profits. Even through this match of SummerSlam, you could have changed it to another team. But I would have cut out at least one team, and it would have been the Wyatt Six, and they're the champions. Pains me to say it, but it is true. So we're like 2 for 2 for great matches at SummerSlam. Thinking we're going 3 for 3 with Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria in a no DQ match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I will say that the match itself was good. It did go a little bit long. There were moments I did not care for, but I thought both ladies worked hard. However, the crowd, I don't know why y'all thought this was the time to do a wave that never waved throughout the stadium. It waved one area, and then you got booed down, and you try to do it again throughout the match. And I'm like, what is this noise during this match? Because it's not for the ladies in the ring. What is going on in the crowd? Then I find out there's a fight in the crowd too. People swinging in the stands. Like, what is happening here on top of the wave? So that was disrespectful to Lyra and Becky, who were really trying to have a good match. It distracted me because I was wondering what's going on. But then I go to WWE and I go to Paul Levesque. Scott made a very good point. Why did we not spread out the stip matches across both nights to give breathing room? Let's go back to night one. If we're chopping matches to accommodate a stip match, let's cut Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn off the show and give that to Lyra and Becky in a spot where they can shine and thrive, and they won't get that distraction bullshit that they got via this match. Let's cut the next match after this one, Solo and Jacob, the steel cage match that could have been on SmackDown, and let's get Aleister Black and Damian Priest on this card for a night 1 or 2. You could have chopped still Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. Sacrifices could have been made to accommodate 2 matches on this card that could have breathed a bit, that could have gotten a bit more over, that could have broke the monotony of stip matches, because as someone said on the timeline, it was given SummerSlam Extreme Rules Edition because there was a lot of stips on this show, a lot of tables, a lot of crash and burn stuff. And I felt for Becky and Lyra because you had to follow that match that was nothing but a demolition derby. But they worked hard. But my God, that crowd sucked. It did. And it made me mad, because why, out of all matches, would you shit on this one?
Well, I guess my thing is with the wave, when you got half the stadium tarped off, how are you going to do a wave to go around the whole stadium? You're only going to get half, a quarter of the way there. Yeah, and not to mention, night 1 had 3 tag team matches. Only one of them had an actual tag team. One's a brand new makeshift tag team that don't even have a name. So you could have swapped that. I completely agree with you. And if we're just keeping it a buck, Jade and Tiffany could have absolutely just been on SmackDown too, and we could have just made a bigger SmackDown if we're just keeping it 100, especially since we're only going to give them 8 minutes, 10 minutes anyway. So, like, and then, and if anything, you could have split that tag title match up. You could have had like a 3 or a 4-way to the winner goes to night 2, and they're in the TLC match. That way, that has a little bit of room to breathe. You could have put Becky and Lyra, like you said, switch Becky and Lyra. Like, this is where it started to get to be like, yeah, we've seen some of this, but I will give the ladies credit. They did do some stuff that was creative. They did do some stuff that, like the chair spot where Becky snapped that chair across her neck when it was wrapped around her and she stomped on it. I ain't seen that before. I do appreciate when she put the handcuffs on her. She was over the rail, that we went with the more Cena Orton I quit match instead of the Roman Reigns me versus the dog food match that he had with King Corbin. So I think they went with the right route there. Strong match, I thought. Bayley, when she came in, first of all, restaurants to her. And then secondly, I just thought that that whole thing took way too long. And then the finish was what it was. Not a fan of her not being able to kick out after being able to kick out through a man slam through chairs. But it is what it is.
Yeah. And the zip tie portion, it did get like a lot. And then at one point, it broke. Then she says, "Oh, it was too early. Let me get them back on." I was like, "What? Let the damn zip ties stay off." And then she went underneath the ring, Houdini'd them off. They're free magically. Like, oh my God. Now I did love like no hands drop kick, no hands moonsault. That was cool. But girl, I saw the zip ties come off. Like Michael Cole said, she's free. And then, actually, no. Because she put them back on her wrist. I was like, what is happening?
Like, what? And like the whole, yeah, like you said, that was the part that kind of pissed me off, actually, when she went under the ring and came out with them zipped, and she was like, "Oh, look what I did!" Like, come on, you didn't snap them or something with your hands, because you went under the ring and Hornswoggle cut them for you. So what are you doing right now?
Or it's like the Max magician and his secrets, that should used to air all the time, like the magician's secrets. How do you do that? Let me show you how we make the magic happen underneath the ring. And magically the zip tie is gone. Yeah. And then Bayley comes out, Cheddar Biscuits, and she is out there to save Lyra from a tire iron attack. And she says, "I'm not that girl." And then she proceeds to say, "I'm actually that girl," by knocking out Lyra with a chain. Is it on purpose? Hell yeah. Like, she did that shit deliberately. Knocks out Lyra. Becky takes advantage. She gets the dub and she wins. I said, what is this finish? That was so lame. I would have just preferred a straight up heel turn by Bayley. Now we're going to get like the explanation tomorrow night. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Lyra. I didn't mean to do it." And then full turn. We know it's coming. Barclays Center, Brooklyn. Yeah, full turn.
I don't care. At this point, I just like, you took 5 minutes too long for her to even make a decision on what she was going to do. Okay, like they were just standing there for at least 5 minutes. So I couldn't do it. And then she did it. Then she didn't do it. Then she ended up doing it. Whatever.
Scott is just over it. So what is your star rating for this match? Now, let's not do stars. I want to do tiers because we haven't done that in a while. I feel like it's getting salty here. So I need your salty tiers for this match review.
Yeah, I think you're right about the tears part. Tears definitely come out. The wrestling part would have been a 3.5, but then Bayley decided to do a 5-minute stare down, so that took off at least 3/4. So I'm gonna go 2 3/4 tears.
Woo, that's rough by Scott's standards. I will go a respectable 3.25 tears. I appreciate the effort of the crowd, Lord Jesus. If they brought out a beach ball, I would have cursed every fan out that participated. I would have lost if there was a beach ball.
I guarantee Becky Lynch would have went and got that beach ball. That's something I feel like she probably would have done.
Yes. And I cannot wait for her promo tomorrow night because she's going to drag those fans. Because I remember someone did that a few years ago and they just called out those fans for just being shitty, for being awful. Oh, yeah. And they're going to get dragged. She's going to do it. Rightfully so, because I'll be pissed too. Year. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, she might go black and white. She might go Hollywood, Becky. Might go Hollywood. Becky
And I'm not mad at that. Her man's champ now, so she got to upgrade a little bit. So who do you think's next for Becky? Who do you think's the next person to step up to her? Right? Because I think Bayley will be busy with Lyra.
Yeah, ooh, that is a good question. Looking at the landscape on Monday Night Raw, there's really nobody there at the moment. It's thin.
It's very, very thin over there in that women's division on Raw right now, especially since you got, do Rhea or Iyo, do they decide to go for it? What you can do that. Like, you can absolutely try and elevate the title, which I think you should do. And I think it would be cool to have Iyo go after Becky, because I don't really remember a singles match from them for a while. So I think that could be something that you could do. But you're right. There's not a lot else there besides elevation of the title to a main event star.
Yeah. See how they play it after SummerSlam for sure. Definite choices there. So our next match that could have been an email on SmackDown was Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship in a steel cage match that was shorter than usual. I'm talking about the cage. Short, because they ain't trying to risk lives in that stadium by going too high, because Jacob had to do a spot. Match itself, the match before it fell off a cliff, was solid. The fans were awake for it. They were into it. Great. Jacob's over as a star. Fantastic. Then we got the shenanigans from My Family Tree. Tala Tonga has now entered the upper echelon of Tongaloa. He's right there with them. He's right there with them.
That was not. Don't disrespect.
Yes, he is.
You
Yes,
would
he
not
is.
disrespect the great Tongaloa like that while I'm on the show. I don't know who you thought you were talking to, but if it ain't Jada Parker, it's Tongaloa. Okay, let me go ahead and tell you that right now.
Listen, I said what I said. He is right there with that man. JC Shazay Mateo, you're right up there with Tongaloa too now. Like, I now wonder, do you need to go back to New Japan? Because this ain't working. This is negative chemistry with this My Family Tree. This is a bad faction, y'all. This is like, Lord, how can I express this without being disrespectful? It's like Bizarro Bloodline without the charisma and a fourth of the talent. That's where we are right now. And it's no good. And Jimmy tried to come out there to save the day, almost took out a cameraman, but that did not work, as Jacob lost because Tala Tonga slammed the door in Jacob's face, and that allowed Solo to get out of there. And I said, you know what? Fuck this match, because this could have been on SmackDown. And then to make sure the crowd feels a little bit better after what happened, I'm going to give you the spot after the match of Jacob going up top, meaning the top of the cage, delivering a moonsault to My Family Tree. Could have been an email on SmackDown. This sucked. Every ounce of this finish sucked. And I like Solo. I think he's very funny, but the chemistry with this crew is ass. It's official. It's ass. It sucks. Roman says, I don't know this part of My Family Tree. I will not associate with this. I will adopt Braun Breaker before I join in on this. Absolutely not.
I told you someone could have been in text. This could have just been a picture of Jacob Fatu on top of the cage, and that'd have been suffice. So the point of the steel cage, like the concept of the steel cage was to keep people out and make people have to fight inside, and only one man survives. Only one man is able to climb out the cage. Well, somewhere along the line, we decided to have pinfalls and just have a normal match with steel around it. And then it became a point to try to be as creative as possible and figure out ways to get people in the cage or to get outside interference in a cage match, which is meant to keep outside interference away. And And we decide to have Talatonga be just, I mean, first of all, shout out to Big Jim doing all he can out there.
God bless him. God, listen, Big Jim, he's living a great life with his wife. God bless them both. He tried.
That man is fighting a battle on many fronts. Okay.
Because listen, Naomi, her tweet suggests that Jim the tweet suggests Jim is getting worn out at least 5 nights a week.
My man's tired. Okay. Naomi, you want to know why she opened the show? She had things to do. Listen, her words, not mine.
Literally her words, because she will let you know, Big Jim, I'll be ready in 5.
First, while we're on it, the picture with the hair, I was like, all right, that's enough, Naomi. You need to cut it out. Yeah. So my man's tired doing all he's got to deal with that. Then he's got Jay and Roman over there living their best life.
Yes,
just
living it up,
opening shows, redoing entrances together, running it back, doing all that together. And this man's fighting 3 people at a time. Talatonga is just following him around like a shadow. He's Slender Man to him. Again, if you would have just taken a picture of Jacob Fatu on top of the cage and sent that out and said, this happened, everybody would be like, cool.
Exactly. And you could have sent it on a postcard on top of that, and you would have been satisfied. But Jesus
Christ is right. It's because that's probably the only person who could have saved this. And I'm not talking about JC Mateo, not Jesus Christ Mateo. I'm not talking about him.
Our Lord and Savior had to come back and say, listen, only I can save this. But even he would have said, you know what? I'm going back in my tomb. This is too much for me. I will awaken when it is time, and it is not time for me yet, because my Lord, Talatonga, ruins my joy for coming back, man. Ruin my resurrection.
Are we building towards a War Games with Bloodline versus Bloodline again?
No.
Is that what we're doing? Because does Big Jim have to call his big brothers?
No. Roman says, I don't know that side of my family tree. I'm not going there. I will go home. If they're still, I will go home for the rest of 2025 with my beautiful wife and my beautiful children and my beautiful life. I will stay my ass at home. If I am not done filming Street Fighter, I'm not coming back for this. Absolutely not. I got my Ulafala back. I'm the OTC 1 because Cody's the QB 1. I gotta have a 1 on front of my name too. That's a lot. That's ego tripping. But he says, listen, I'm done with my family. I don't know them.
Yeah, that dude was like doing a lot of extra stuff. That dude was diving over the ring. First of all, we might have to stop doing the dives out the ring because Roman almost died. Thank God he knows how to tuck and roll.
Bruh, listen. Hey, Roman, this ain't the Shield, baby.
Nah, that's on Braun. That's on the Bronze. That's on Braun.
Yeah, but Roman overshot his coverage.
That boy was flying.
He flew like it was 2013, and he was bigger back then than he is now in terms of, the physique is more trim, but he was bigger than flying. But no, baby, no. I'm glad that you can still do it, but no, sir. Like, you almost died. I thought you broke your neck.
Hey, let me tell you something. This dude said, listen, I ain't wrestling no more this month. I might not even wrestle next month. I'll do it. Sure. Why not?
Man, for the love of the game.
One more thing, too. I know they won the match, but the arrogance and the gall of Jey Uso to run it back and get Roman Reigns to run it back with it was absolutely just, I was like, wow, this is what we order.
They was on one, but then the funniest part about running it back was that they said, and I mean, the Braun said, we're not running back nothing. They got Roman out of there real quick. And then Jay says he was mid-yeet when he realized we're Roman. They said, we're not doing no encores. We're not doing that. Disrespectful asses.
One other thing, I can't remember. Did Roman get his shoes back?
No. Paul wore the shoes around his neck after the match was over. He did not get back the sneakers. He let that go unpunished. He let that ride.
Paul should, if he was going to keep the sneakers, he should have at least spared him. Like, you know what? You can keep them. Then he should have let him keep them. But like the fact that nothing happened with the sneakers, and all right, whatever, that's fine. Sorry, I know it's night one. Let's go back to night two. Sorry.
And we're supposed to be telling stories. The story was get your sneakers back. He didn't get them back. You let Paul.
The story was that Roman was like, nah, don't worry about it. I just buy another pair.
Basically, I got money, unlimited funds. Okay. He said, you keep that. I don't need those. So that happened. So this match, there could have been a photo, there could have been a postcard and an email and a text all in one. A waste of my time. 2 tiers is my score. 2.
I'm cool with that because Jim gave 2 super kicks. So yeah, 2 tiers.
That's fair. To equal the amount of super kicks in this match to match the tiers. That's more than fair.
Yeah.
As we get to our semi-main event of SummerSlam, which was Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus the phenomenal AJ Styles in a singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I love both men. I want to say that. I want to thank them for actually putting thought and care and humor into this match because it is the 20th anniversary of Dirty Dom's debut in WWE when Eddie and Ray fought for custody of Dirty Dom in that ladder match, a match recovered via a throwback SummerSlam show a few years ago. And then we had AJ Styles come out there with his son in a lowrider as he wore the same gear that Eddie wore 20 years ago in that very match. We saw AJ's son. I did laugh at one of my mutuals saying, was that Eminem in the car? Stop. Was that staying in the vehicle? Stop.
Yeah. Now, was that a dig at Dom for being a blonde?
Yes, absolutely. Either that's his real color or not. And then Dirty Dom said, is that Mini-Me in that car? Like, he was so funny when he saw that during the post show. He said, is that me? Is that supposed to be me? I loved it. So I do love the humor that both guys brought into the match, and the work was very good. And they got time, which I appreciated. Fans love Dirty Dom and AJ Styles, but more so Dirty Dom on this night. And Dirty Dom got the win by being so clever when he unzipped his boot, and when AJ went for the calf crusher, he knew the boot was going to come off. That allowed him to whack AJ in the head with that boot behind the referee's back. Frog splash, dub. It was a really fun match. I enjoyed the Eddie Guerrero call out with the chair shot and the framing of either guy doing it, and the referee couldn't tell who did what. All of it was really clever. It was nice callbacks, and the chemistry with Dirty Dom and AJ was there. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a nice palate cleanser from the last hour of that show heading into the main event.
Yeah, I thought Dominic Mysterio just doing all the tributes to his real father was, I thought it was great. I'm just saying, like, you could just see the resemblance in the style and everything. The chair shot, lay it down after the chair. I liked how AJ wrapped it around his neck, by the way.
Yes, that was a nice touch. Egregious, like, sir. Wow.
And then he started shaking.
I know he was twitching.
I was like, all right. So that was really good. I thought that the finish was pretty clever as well with the boot. They did a good job there. Yeah, match was solid. I definitely didn't see the Samsonite bag that you were talking about that Dominic was supposed to be carrying around. I saw a little drawstring bag. I saw a couple new things.
Upgrade.
I saw a couple new things. I was pretty impressed. Thought he did good. The little leg sweep I thought was a nice touch. I thought that looked really good on the apron. But yeah, Matt, like you said, I think they knew the spot they were in and knew they couldn't go out there and technical wrestle and get the crowd into it. But if they did different things, brought out, like you said, the humor, using homages to Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. Very smart and very good way to keep the crowd engaged in a very different way.
For sure. So I am winning. I'm like going to be like 3-0 by the end of this year. I won him with Liv, got him with Naomi. I'm running high now. And now that Scott has admitted that it's not a fanny pack anymore, it is a drawstring bag.
I'll give him the drawstring. I can absolutely admit he's upgraded to the drawstring, and Naomi's not even a bag anymore. She's just Naomi the champ.
Yeah. It was something, I tell you, for sure. So that happened, and I'm very happy about that as well. So Scott's getting converted slowly but surely. So a drawstring bag will be converted to a full Samsonite bag by the end of the year.
Let's try to just get a regular school book bag by the end of the year. A back to school book bag by the end of the year.
Okay.
And then we can work on the Samsonite in 2026.
Okay, so my goal by the end of 2025 is for Scott to acknowledge that at least Dirty Dom has a Jan Sport bag.
First of all, Jan Sport is a wow. They just came back. Actually, I just saw a commercial for them coming back. I was like, wow, really? But yeah, okay, yeah, I'm with that. His next upgrade will be a Jan Sport book bag.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. As we now get to our main event of SummerSlam, which was a street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. I want to rewind to SmackDown a couple of days ago when we got the out of nowhere about face turn of John Cena. And if you saw my face on SmackDown, I was like, do I really believe this shit? Did this really happen? Because they basically acknowledged, y'all, the last 4 months, that didn't happen. It didn't work out. I tried it, didn't feel it. I'm back to being me. I'm gonna be a fighter. I'm gonna be your champion. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I was like, is this for real? Because y'all basically said this whole thing with Travis Scott and The Rock, this shit sucked. This was an FU to both of them. Yeah. This is going on Unreal. Episode number 3, part 2 of season 1, entitled The About Face, because they basically said the last 5 months never happened. It was all a dream, a fever dream. It never happened. And I thought, are we getting swerved here? Are we? I don't know. I do not know. But here we are, the main event. Let's talk entrances. Cody Rhodes got his Cody Vader out there. Love the quotes from his dad. Love the voiceover. Came out there. Cold entrance. I mean, that was cold. Like, that's aura right there. Love that for him. Then John Cena came out there and said, Lord, here comes this black and white bullshit. But then the colors came in. And the fans popped for the colors. And he came out there. He shouted out Stu. He ran down the ramp. It was John Cena. And I was like, do I want to believe this is really the John that we know and love? Is this babyface John Cena? We get the introductions. He still has the over-the-top introduction, but it's in a babyface way now. He gets cheered unanimously. Cody's getting booed because they love John Cena. But what we got was one of the best WWE matches of the year. And it was redemption for their match at WrestleMania, which was garbage. This match was so much better, light years from where we were. John Cena, I think, has had an issue of thinking to himself, I'm old. I don't have it anymore. And I think he had like that defeatist attitude of like, I know what I can't do. And I'm just who I am now. I don't know what he tapped into last night, but this dude went out there and he had his best match since AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble in 2017. 35 minutes of excellence. Cody Rhodes, QB1, welcome back to say, listen, I was Wrestler of the Year a year or so ago. I had that stinker at WrestleMania against John Cena. we're not doing that again. And I thought he was outstanding. He embraced the booze. He didn't get shook by it. He did what he needed to do to win this match. The near falls, the AAs, the crossroads, the kickouts, the Super Cena chant getting over in 2025. Like, we love Super Cena now. Loved it. One of the highlights of this match was John Cena using the Cody Vader to get Cody up for an AA and dropping him on the ramp. That was a cold visual. Love the spot. They're fighting in the crowd. Cena's taking bumps. Cena doing a damn cold red on the floor, clean as a sheet, leg drop off the top rope. Cody unbuckling the ropes to hit him with the turnbuckle, choke him out. That spot was cool. Everything about the match was great. Then we had table spot, Slim Jim to get 2 more checks for the night. We had people go through the table twice over. And then ultimately Cody Rhodes gets the W, Crossroads for the victory after another table spot. And I thought, oh God, are we going to get a turn? Is somebody going to turn here? Thankfully, that did not happen. Both guys stood tall. They hugged it out. Words were had. And then John Cena has his moment until Redacted came out there to end the show in that way. But the match itself, 35 minutes of professional wrestling excellence. John Cena, sir, we tried the heel turn in the moment. It was great. Your follow-up was forced because I don't think in your heart you felt it, because during this run at the end of it, the people just want to love you. They want to appreciate you and they want to celebrate you. It was time to re-embrace that. And on this night, you turn back the clock, dude, like it was 2015 U.S. Champion Open Challenge, John Cena. Salute to you, sir.
Yeah, I think we can just squarely put this on Travis Scott's shoulders. Him and Dwayne, you know, they had their plans. Everybody's got plans. This is essentially what we could have got at WrestleMania. And I think part of it is John Cena said, I'm a heel. Let me not do none of that. Let me not be that. Let me let the babyface create that excitement and stuff. Because I thought tonight he wrestled like babyface John Cena. Like we saw, like he wrestled like John Cena U.S. title open challenge, John Cena tonight. I mean, when he hit the code red on the floor, when he got up, you saw the smirk on his face. Like, yeah, I'm in my bag tonight. Hey, Dominic Mysterio, this is what a bag looked like tonight because I'm in it right now. Okay.
Okay.
My man.
Okay. Bars. Okay. Bars.
Hey, I'm just saying. You hit a famous sir tonight. I mean, like, I don't know what more you can ask for him. He even looked like after the match, he was like, yo, I don't know if you're gonna get nothing better than that out of me. Like he had a look like that might be it. I might just go. I don't know if you gonna get nothing better out of me. Him kicking out of the 3 crossroads, great near fall. The avalanche AA, great near fall. I thought the only thing I would have liked to see extra, just as a throwback, is him hitting the AA and then the rolling AA he did to AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. I thought that was the only AA he was missing because he pretty much hit every single one he's ever hit in his career on Cody. And I like that Cody has been willing to show a little bit more of the edge. It started with the KO thing, and then he grabbed that bottom turnbuckle. I was a bit worried we were getting the heel turn there. The super cutter through the table, or the DDT or face plant, whatever it was, he put him through that table face first. And I bet you, or not even, I guarantee you, if we didn't have all the plunder matches leading up to this, it would have been even more impactful. As great as this match was, we saw so many tables. We saw so many ladders. We saw so many things. We don't see any of that. You put all that on night 1 and let this be the only match of this type tonight. Man, I think we're talking about it even in a more delightful light, even in a greater light, because we just saw so much. But I think this just shows how good of a match that we're talking, how highly it was when we saw a car crash, an attempted murder by Becky Lynch on Lyra with the zip tie and getting hit by the kendo sticks. And so, like, shout out to them, man. This is definitely a 5-star that's going under John Cena's notch.
Absolutely, deservedly so. And I do also want to call out one more thing from the repetitiveness from the step matches tonight. Back to the steel cage match. There should have been a postcard. We had, Scott, let's go back and think about this. You mentioned Lyra and the zip tie. Handcuffs for Jacob.
Handcuffs. I forgot about the handcuffs.
Handcuffs.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, he snaps him like he's Superman and Man of Steel. So, you know, like,
snapped him in 15 seconds. Like, why are we repeating spots using different variations of handcuffs? Zip ties, handcuffs. Let's chain our opponents up. Like, what? So, yeah, we could have cut a lot of this stuff for night 2. We could have moved Lyra and Becky to night 1. We could have had several matches from both nights as an email to just let the matches breathe a bit better, to make this match, as great as it was, stand out even more, because it would have been less plunder, less car crashy stuff. But we are where we are, unfortunately. But fortunately, this match was still great. And John Cena, for one night, Scott said it, he might have said, that's all I got left. I emptied the clip. I shot the bullets. This is the most you're going to get out of me. Now, granted, I might wake up for Gunther. I might get up for that one. Give y'all one more. But in terms of giving my all, you never getting the Code Red out of me no more. That was the last Code Red you're going to get out of me. When he looked up and said, I did it, I said, yes, you did it. You did it. And the fact you also growing your hair back, God bless you too. You went to Germany, got that hair. Good. Congratulations. Got your hair back, got your steps back, got your groove back. Good for you.
And I think if he gets an AJ match, I think that might pique his interest too, because they've got a strong series and they just have instant chemistry as well. So
yeah.
All right. So I guess the next natural question is, I guess John Cena and BL. I just I can't do it yet.
I know.
I guess Cena and BL. I guess they're gonna do it. They're gonna do their thing, get their match out of the way, like you said, because they're probably like, yeah, he's probably going to jail, and TKO's like, well, let's get our money before he goes to jail, because that's how they think. So they're gonna do their thing. Where do you think Cena goes next, and then where do you think Cody goes next?
Alrighty. So after Cena faces Redacted at Paris, most likely, we do have the Perth show in October. I would love to see Cena and AJ at least one more time. Then we get Gunther, and then we have Survivor Series. So there's got to be something else there. I don't know who it's going to be against. So hopefully it'll be a good opponent. As for Cody, I'm hoping the crowd reactions are just because of John Cena and not because of resentment towards Cody. I don't think that's the case. And he said tonight, dude, Homelander sucks. He's a bad guy. I am not Homelander, but if I do hear this kind of response, we got to kind of roll with it, right? Do not turn him prematurely. Do not do that. It's got to be AEW levels of fuck Cody Rhodes for him to turn. I do not want that for him. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Next opponent, Randy. They got to circle back on that. It will be Randy. And then probably Drew McIntyre, because we have not done that yet.
Yeah, Drew and Logan Paul were my next two thoughts. Were one of them. I think this would be a nice boot. I think Drew would be a good opponent. As far as Cena goes, it's the Survivor Series one is what's intriguing as far as what his involvement there could be, and who he could face. Because you mentioned the AJ that could happen somewhere. Then he's got Gunther on the horizon, but there's probably going to be something in the middle there. And who on the roster that he hasn't already, had the match with? Who is left that he's got kind of that legacy with? You know, he could have hired Carlito. You know, they always got that going on. Where's Jesus at?
Well, who we can't call is from the Time Life collection, track number 4 of the American Dragon, unavailable, unfortunately. Unavailable.
That would have been a really fun match.
Oh man, it would have been. Yeah, so he's unavailable. So yeah, like a lot of the greats are unavailable for him to face.
Shout out to Cope.
Cope unavailable, Jericho unavailable. So we're running out of folks.
I'm trying to even think of like who some of his past. He had a few matches with Booker T over the United States title, but we don't need any shucky duckies in the ring right now.
No.
We already talked about Jericho, but that's not going to happen. Christian's not going to happen. Edge isn't going to happen. Brian Danielson's not going to happen. I don't even know who else he really had because we don't need to see the Big Show.
No, we're good. We're good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know who. We don't need to see him in Roman again because that does nobody any good.
No, and they weren't great matches,
right?
So no.
I don't know.
No, the next person outside of the 3 we named, it can't be Paul because bad heart. That's not going to happen. HBK, no, unless you AI him, but that's not going to happen.
She said the AI HBK.
Man, if Kevin did not hurt his neck, it would have been him.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
the Kevin Owens thing makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that would have been a real good one. Kevin Owens is a good call for that.
Yeah. So after that, I'm just at a loss unless we're going to go with newer talent.
Can't do Cesaro. He's not there no more. Or Claudio. Can't do him.
It would have been Claudio.
Can't do him.
Track 9 would have been Claudio. The Claudio chapter. Damn it. Stone Cold. No. Stone Cold ain't working on. He's working at WrestleManias only. But that would have been good as a possibility. Something that they never did. But
I know they won't do it because this would only be a WrestleMania caliber match, but why didn't he face The Rock?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to happen at a Survivor Series or unless they give them unless they create a pay-per-view for Cena's last match and be like, yo, it's going to be against The Rock. It's not going to happen.
No, and this was a gigantic FU to Travis Scott and Dwayne. Sure. Like, this was like, don't come back here anytime soon because we're not going to talk. You will not be on Unreal Part 2, Season 1. You're not going to be discussed. Like, I laughed. We'll talk about it Tuesday because I did finish watching the first batch of episodes. I'm laughing in hindsight at the Paul Levesque and Rock conversation at Elimination Chamber. Hearty laugh in hindsight because it's like, fuck you season now. Like, you can't come back anytime soon. They basically dragged your creative and says, no, sir. We're not doing any of this. That is an email officially as well. So yeah, we'll see who Cena faces, but I will question you, Scott. If we can't go back in time, what current fresh star could you see Cena facing?
Braun Breaker.
I love that.
I think Braun Breaker just annihilating Cena. Like, you know, Cena's going to show plenty of heart, but just Braun Breaker just annihilating him and just getting a decisive win would do wonders for him.
I love it. I would also love like Iyo if they could. That'd be fun.
That would be different and fun. I would like. You know what? I know it's an outside the box type thing. John Cena does still have one thing he's never done in his career. He's never won that IC title. And John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio would be a very interesting and intriguing matchup.
Yeah, something he hasn't done. I would love that. Oh, if Ray heals up, we do have Ray as an option too. We can run back Ray. Ray's a good one. They've had good matches.
Oh, what am I? Me of all people. Mike the Miz.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
Me of all people to forget the great Mike the Miz. I can't believe, because Triple H forgot about him. So, but I can't believe I forgot to mention Mike.
So this segment lasted too long for Scott to remember Mike the Miz Mizanin, because he didn't remember his own match against John Cena at WrestleMania because he was knocked out. But Scott remembered, and then Fernando comes through with the fantasy match of the night.
There it is. There it is.
Cena versus Goldberg, the retirement part 2.
Listen, Goldberg better go out when he can, because he ain't gonna get a better match to go out on either. So he better get out of there too. I like the Fatu one I just saw. Oh, Hendry's a good one. I saw the Hendry. Hendry's a good one.
Yeah, Hendry's a good one too. Do you want him to die, David, against Fatu? Really? Do you? I mean, Cena had a good life if you sent him out there with Fatu. But here's the one, Scott, so I can pop you before we go. Cena versus Tongaloa. There we go.
I talked about The Rock earlier. That is the match that you build a pay-per-view around. John Cena versus Tongaloa, the final encounter, and you just put that rocket ship on Tongaloa, because right after he does that, Cody's next.
Oh, God. On that note.
No, you ain't just popped me. That is the absolute thing they should do. Tongaloa should be John Cena's next opponent. I love it. I can't wait.
No, we're good there. We're good. Bringing up the Miz, you would try it to end this show. You would. We went on too long.
I hadn't brought him up all night.
The obligatory Michael Mizanin name drop. I can't with you. But 5 stars for this match, easily. Cheddar biscuits for both guys. Cody, especially lately. I don't know what it is. Workout regimen. I don't know. But yeah, cheddar biscuits. Brandy, I understand. You're blessed and highly favored in your life. Blessed.
Well, Cody sees color, so that's a big part of it.
That is an important factor, because Brandy made him see it, because she wasn't having that. Okay,
Cody
checked him
Cody
real quick.
Admits to his ignorance, and I respect that.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When a man can admit he's wrong and say you're dumb at the same time, you know what? You earn it. But lately, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the glutes or the biceps are working out. I don't know what it is, but what I do know, he's getting ready for Street Fighter. I done figured it out. Getting ready for Street Fighter.
Oh, you're right.
Getting in Street Fighter shape, and God bless America. Yes. That's
your next WrestleMania main event, sponsored by Street Fighter. Guile versus Akuma.
With the live arcade game at ringside. As a part of WWE World, the experience. Yes.
You're playing, but that's probably going to happen. There probably will be an arcade setup with those games on there. Cody's face on one, Roman's on the other.
We do need a part 3, and I would love that for them, because their matches have been great. So I'm all for it. And Roman's going to be circling now like, oh, you got the belt back? You know what time it is. He's already licking his chops. He's ready.
The only person scarier coming after you when you got a belt than Mercedes Moné is Roman Reigns.
Yes, like no, he didn't care when Cena had it, but Cody's got to. Now we got something to say to each other. Mark it down. We're gonna run it back in Vegas.
Yeah,
he really didn't care. He didn't give a damn. Listen, Scott, he didn't give a damn when Cena had the belt. He didn't go to SmackDown, check that man, say, I'm coming for it. No, he said, I'm going to wait until Cody gets it back, and then I'm going to come back.
If they have a confrontation on SmackDown, I'm going to be like, all right, dude, you and Seth just got to stop hating and just, being people's boogeymans, because this is getting ridiculous.
It is, truly. And even with Roman and Seth, he says, right now, that's not my priority. But I'm going to come back and get his ass one day. Like, Seth, I'm going to get you. It just won't be right now, but just know I'm going to get you too.
Yeah. Good show though.
Good show.
Pretty good matches. Let me say that.
Good matches. Good matches. We had some good matches. We had some email matches, some text message matches, and then we had Redacted show up to ruin everything at the end. But it was a show.
Yeah, the BL. But that's where we are.
Yes. So on a scale from 1 to 10, your final score for SummerSlam Night 2 and the cumulative score for both nights.
Man. Total, I'm for tonight. I'm gonna give it 7. I thought the show was solid, and I'm not gonna knock anything off for them for what they did at the end, but I will say that as far as a total, I thought this was pretty significantly better. I'm gonna give it a total of 13. I thought night 1 was probably a 6.
Yeah, I agree. I will give this show a solid 7 out of 10 for tonight. Combining both shows, if I do an average, I would say for both nights combined, 6.5 out of 10 total for the weekend. It was a concept that will continue to be tested because we're going back to it next year in Minneapolis, Minnesota, US Bank Stadium. They're getting their 2-night SummerSlam. They were denied a WrestleMania, so they're getting to make good via that. They are the second test pilot of this 2-night SummerSlam. Lessons need to be learned from this show. Booking, we have to be mindful of booking. We have to be mindful of match patterns. We have to be mindful of not being repetitive with our booking and making sure that you're putting your best matches on the card. Because some matches on this card for both nights could have been on SmackDown, on Monday Night Raw, or quite frankly, not happen at all. That is where we are. We have to distribute our time better and allocate those spots to feuds and matches that truly deserve it.
Yeah, and you just had Evolution and Stephanie, or and you had people coming off of that, and you have Stephanie who's got this title shot coming up, and she's not even in the picture. She's nowhere to be seen. So yeah, there's just stuff things you can do better, time that can be given differently. But I think for the first time, I think it went off pretty well. Yeah, I think it was better than WrestleMania this year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We just got to think about who was left off this card. Penta, LA Knight.
Oh, LA Knight's done. I don't know what he got against LA Knight, but you don't build something off of the Rollins thing. Like now they're going to go back to it and he's probably going to get a title shot because Rollins has the title, but why wouldn't you just run with that? Like you just have something there that you can run with. Penta. You had Penta dancing down the aisle during a title match, and now that he's by himself and not dancing, you don't want him on the show. Whatever.
The LA Knight one is wild. It is a wild one, and they have to circle back because that man does now do a championship match because he beat that man in the ring, and now Seth has to answer for why you let him beat you like that decisively. Mm-hmm. Was it a setup from the jump? So yeah, lots of answers coming out of SummerSlam heading into Monday Night Raw, and we'll see how WWE handles it. But it was a solid weekend for sure. 2-night SummerSlam. The experiment continues heading into next year. And that is a wrap for this episode of The Wrap, or WWE Postgame Live via the Fight Game Media Network on YouTube. We'll be back on Wednesday morning to recap Monday Night Raw, the fallout from SummerSlam, NXT, and of course, our thoughts on the remaining episodes of part 1 of season 1 of WWE Unreal. So Scott, thank you for joining me as always to recap night 2 of SummerSlam from MetLife Stadium.
Thank you for having me, Keila. As always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. Thank you to everybody in the chat who contributed. We appreciate all that. And I'll talk to you soon on Tuesday. Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about because I'm sure Raw is going to have some interesting fallouts.
For sure, and we'll talk about it in a few days' time. So until then, that is a wrap for WWE Postgame Live. For myself and for Salty or Perky Scott Young, Take care and bye-bye.